All right, everybody. Hey, welcome to Note Night in America here for January 25th. Honored as always to have you guys join us here tonight. Tonight is actually happy opposite day. Well, I promise you, we won't give you the opposite of nothing tonight. We'll give you some great stuff for you to be able to implement directly into your note and real estate investment business. Now, I want to thank those of you guys that actually commented on our quick question over the weekend in Note Nation about what you need help with or need focus on. One of the overwhelmingly three trends is like about raising capital. I need help in raising capital and finding investors or getting investors to fund my deal. And so that's what tonight is all about, is actually getting investors to listen to your note pitch. Now, I want to clarify this. I may piss some people off tonight, and that's okay. You know what? We have to get outside our comfort zone, and you would not be here if you didn't get the stuff direct from me. You know, I'm not a smoke blower. I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass to make you feel good. I'm going to tell you like it exactly is. And one of the things that I was thinking about tonight, literally today and over the weekend, what am I going to talk about on Note Night in America here with you guys? As I was thinking about the topic, I was like, I just can't talk about finding investors, because that's, yeah, everybody shows up. Oh, show me how to find investors. But the idea here of just finding them, you can find investors everywhere. And we'll get to that in a second here for you guys. But it's all about taking that next step. It's not just finding them. Making a list doesn't do you diddly squat. And I've even seen a lot of my students and even my high-end coaches, they make a list and they never do anything with it, which drives me just actually bonkers. You know what I mean? Drives me crazy when people don't take action. And so I don't care where you're at. What I want you to do is, if you have questions on a night's call or you're listening to this and have questions, feel free to type the questions in the chat room. But let's keep them on track. Let's keep them on point where everything is at tonight. So I hate to say this, but educators out there, most people in real estate have been failing you. Yes, they've been failing you. And I found this really obvious over the last couple of days. You guys have probably heard about the Clubhouse app. I've been listening to some groups, and I've been hearing some horrible, I won't say it's advice, I will say it's horrible, asinine fucking comments. Pardon my French. I get fired up about this. It is horrible comments. People giving you literally getting advice. If somebody's supposed to be a guru or an educator, giving advice to people, that is the worst advice I've ever heard. And I'm like, what are you smoking? And it just absolutely screams, wait, this person's not doing any deals. Like somebody was talking about the other day about, oh, should I keep, I work for a company and they contribute dollar for dollar up to 3% of my 401k. Should I keep contributing to it? Or should I not and put it in the IRA? I'm like, whoa, that's free money. That's 100% return on investment if you keep putting in your IRA or your 401k. And then when you leave, you can take that money with you. Well, no, you should stop putting that in your 401k. I'm like, what idiot is telling this person that's the best return you can get? It's all vetted, she said. I'm like, that's stupid. Because $100 or $200 a month is not going to buy you a property, but it will start to compound. So there's just all sorts of bad information, bad advice, and real estate and note group. And I was just like, and it comes across the board that if you're looking to get more investors to listen to your pitch or to actually take notice and listen to what you're doing, what you're talking about to raise capital, most of the investors and most of the educators out there, or that four-letter word I hate, guru, have been failing you. Most are teaching finding deal strategy, the nuts and bolts of the deal. They're good at that. They know how to rehab a property. They know how to use direct mail. They're good at probate lists. I get that, how to find it. I get about finding yourself. What they suck at, though, is the actual marketing of that and actually getting money out there. They can't teach you how to market because most aren't marketers. Most of them don't understand it's a different mindset when it comes to marketing for money or getting investors to say yes, because it's a whole different philosophy. It's the deal flow. You have to be the marketing mindset of things. And most of them struggle with this because why? Well, because they've been taught the same old strategies that have been around for years. Okay. And if they're going traditional route, they've been taught, oh, you got to go get bank financing, or you already have a warm network. Well, what if you don't have a warm network? Oh, well, then you can go use hard money. Okay, that's great, but that's not building any skills. What happens when the market drops? What happens? And we're talking primarily traditional real estate here, but a lot of people on this tonight are investing in both notes and traditional real estate. So I'm sorry if I'm stepping on anybody's toes, but I'm just being honest. Okay. Or this is the thing that really drives me bonkers. People are like, oh, I just want a wholesale. I'm like, so why are you wanting a wholesale? Well, I don't have any money. I have zero skin in the game. And I was on the phone with somebody just a few minutes ago talking about, oh, can I wholesale notes? I'm like, why do you want to wholesale? Well, because I don't have any money. I'm like, well, why don't you market for money? You can market a property, a wholesale deal, right? Well, yeah. Well, then just change or tweak your marketing. Instead of a wholesale buyer, somebody to fund it. Well, I don't want to do it. I'm scared. Why are you scared? Well, I don't have any money. But you don't have any money because you're not marketing properly, okay? If you're a wholesaler, you're really not investing in anything. You're just flipping. It's like feed a man for a day. I mean, give him a fish, feed him for a day, teach him how to fish, feed him for a lifetime. Most people are just consuming wholesale deals, making a quick profit. And guess what? It's gone. It's gone. They got to go on to the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. And it becomes really a way to burn out your list because constantly you're having to try to go and find new deals and hustling. That's why a lot of people leave wholesale aren't effective. But I'm seeing real estate groups filled with wholesalers that can't find success. And you're never going to grow, and this comes from everybody, wherever you're at, you're never going to grow as an investor or as a person if you don't get outside of your comfort zone and grow your skills. If you're not good at email, you're going to have to expand a little bit or find somebody to help you out with it. If you're not good at talking to people, guess what? Go talk to more people. The only reason I'm good at podcasts and interviewing and doing note deals and breaking down stuff is because I've done it over and over and over and looked at deals. And there's some things you can automate, but then some things you just got to look at. Sometimes you got to take the time and draw a deal out versus looking at a spreadsheet. You got to look at, does the deal make sense actually versus just what the spreadsheet tells you. Okay. Another thing is people don't take things seriously. They treat investing or going to a meetup group or being on Note Night in America, or going to a webinar as that's how they're itching their itch. They're not taking it seriously. And this is the sad thing. Many of the people out there want to accomplish big things. I want to make more money. I want to leave my job. I want to retire my family or retire my spouse, whatever. But you're not taking things seriously enough because you're playing small. You're playing scared, okay? You don't want to be scared, okay? And you have to realize big things have small starts. You have to get outside your comfort zone and start doing things, developing skills that are going to last you a lifetime. Because hopefully, all of you are going to be in real estate or real estate investing as a lifetime. So marketing or pitching or something like that is something you're going to do no matter what you do. But a lot of people avoid that. Oh, I don't have to raise capital because I'm just going to flip this. Well, yeah, it's fine, but you're really relying on old Stone Age marketing techniques. It's the 21st century, ladies and gentlemen. And you see this, I see this in workshops, I see this in webinars, I see this in conferences when I see people relying on the old marketing methods, or they're marketing to one market, or their strategy works in just one market and doesn't work across the country. Okay. I was listening to a guy in San Antonio talking about, I bought all these low value notes and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, what kind of asset class? And I said, oh, wait, that asset class doesn't work in LA. That asset class doesn't work in South Florida because you're not seeing those types of deals. The markets are completely different. Or another one up in Dallas. Oh, we're only going to do this. Well, that only works in Dallas or Phoenix. Maybe it doesn't work in other areas because it's a different market. You have to understand not only market is not just what's going on with what you're doing, but also where you're located and who you're marketing to. Okay. But the biggest thing is when people come in, you're dealing with educators. Well, they've built a database or they've built a meetup group or they've already got a bigger warm market. Where do you begin as a brand new investor? For those of you starting, where do you start? That's the number one thing. Do all these great things that people, they talk about all great, but I'm like, what about me if I'm starting off brand new? And that's what tonight is all about. If I had to start all over again, what would I do? And I'm really excited. I've got here, not this week, but next week, I'm actually interviewing Dean Graziosi. You guys may recognize that name. Millionaire mindset hacks and from late night infomercials and being partners with Tony Robbins. I'm actually interviewing him on my podcast next week. And that's one of the questions. If you were starting over today, what would you do? And what kind of a really true advice and counsel would you give to people out there? And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So the old model is broke, unfortunately, but you keep seeing this over and over. And I'm in these, listening in some of these clubhouse groups. I'm hearing these people that are supposed to be investors for years, and they're sharing these old ways that haven't changed. I'm like, have you thought about doing this instead? Well, no, because this is the old way of raising capital. The old way of raising capital, okay, is finding a deal. Go out and find your deal, okay? Go out and find your deal. Good money finds good deals. And I agree that a good deal will find you money. I still agree to that. But the old way of raising capital. Go find a deal. All right, get it under contract, negotiate back and forth. Once you've got it under contract, then go to your local RIA club, and that meets once a month. Get up in front of everybody at your local RIA, your meetup, your network, what would be. Stand up and pitch your deal. You got to put the details on a flyer, put it on a piece of paper. And most of the time, the flyer is handwritten, or it's crappy, or it's black and white. It's a business card that doesn't work for shit. Okay, and most people have a crappy or no flyer at all, and they don't know the deal. They don't know the numbers. Hey, here's my phone number, email. I got a deal in a zip code, and they rely on people, 50 to 100 people in the audience, to 10 or 12 to email them or text them trying to find. That's such an old way of doing business. It's not effective at all because people get busy. They're not going to call. If you don't have a flyer, there's no way for them to reach out back at you if they forget about it, okay? And you're at home, please, God, or you're in the back of the room after pitching, please, somebody call me. Somebody like me. Somebody pick me, my deal. I need it. I need it. I need it. And you're waiting for somebody to call you. Nobody calls. It's crickets. Maybe you get your deal funded. Maybe somebody reaches out. If not, then you got to run over to get a hard money loan, traditional, or then you got to kill the deal. That's the old model is broke. Or you know what'll happen? Somebody will take your deal and they'll send it out on joker brokers and wholesale lists, and you'll get 2 or 3 removed from you, and then all hell breaks loose. Okay, it's just not a fun thing. You get joker brokers. Oh, can I flip that? Can I wholesale your deal? No, it's the whole way of raising capital. It's broke, but they still teach this over and over all across the country. Why? Because they get stuck in their comfort zone, and everybody does this. I've done this in the past, got stuck in my comfort zone. Okay. You have to get out your comfort zone. You have to do new things. You got to grow. You start feeling in a rut. You got to do things to shake it. And especially when you look at what's happened in the last 12 months, you've got to shake things up, baby. All right. You've really got to shake some things up for you. So look at the gurus. If you're looking at educating somebody, look at the gurus. Look at how old are they? Honestly, if they're over 40, 45, they're probably doing things the old way. I see it, and they're constantly, and I see this in different mastermind groups. Oh, I got to squeeze. I'm getting less return. Well, you're getting less return because the old way of doing business is drying up. The old way is old. People are tired of getting 12 postcards, okay? And you have to look at what methods are they doing in the market. Is it a 20th century? I'm going to drop out yellow letters. Hi, my name is Scott. My wife, Steph, and I would like to talk about buying your house at 123 Main Street. Oh, no. Okay, is it a 20th century or a 21st century model of marketing? Okay, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality. And the biggest eye-opening event, the biggest aha, came a couple years at the Quest Expo when I was sitting there, and one of my peers in the industry, I guess my competitor, came up to me and said, "Hey, Scott, would you help me market my list, my owner buyers list?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not going to do that." "Well, I think we should work together. You should work for me and help me market my stuff." I'm like, "Listen, if you can't market your own stuff, I'm definitely not going to work for you." Okay. You have to realize that you aren't doing. Yeah, Derek says you're not doing the old way. No, Derek, you are coming. I am pulling you into the 21st century way of doing business. Okay. But that's a lot of things. It all depends. We're talking about notes and real estate. Some people are like, "Oh, this business model still works." Okay, fine. But you have to think, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. No, that's fine. If it ain't broke, okay, it's still working right now, but you need to tweak it. We always have to update your marketing, constantly change things. Look at all these people that were using AdWords. Remember when they first did a website, they would type in all keywords at the bottom. That changed. And they had to get more interested now with Google bots and all that's changed. You've got to be evolving what you're doing. Now, a lot of that stuff is way advanced that you don't need to. You don't need a lot of that stuff. You're not a full-time marketer, but there are things that you guys can do to come out of the dark ages to make some things happen. So look at the gurus. There's some thing. It ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's kill the Amazon forest with direct mail. That's right. You got to send every lead 5 postcards, or every owner finance buyer, a note holder, you got to send them a yellow letter, or you got to send them a letter 10 times. I'm like, ugh. When I talked to my buddy Jason Bible in Houston, he talks about how his direct mail funds each month are like somewhere between 10 and 35 grand. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of postcards, a lot of letters that don't do well. Now, we have to look at, if they're older, they might have a website, they might have some social media accounts they post to occasionally. Ones, oh, that's good. Welcome It is the 20th century. We come out of the 19th, the dark age, to actually having something. But you have to realize, and most people forget about this, and I scream this from the rooftops. According to the American Market Association and their stats, 80% of sales are made after the fifth contact. And we are all guilty. Everybody out there is guilty of talking about, oh, I sent one email, I raised $1 million. I did one deal and made $12 billion. Or I did one video and it went viral. That's a bunch of bullshit. You have to get in mind that you have to 80% of sales are going to be made after the fifth contact. They don't teach this. They don't teach this. Well, I got to get 5 postcards in front. I got to get 10 yellow letters. Keep just killing them. Kill a dead horse with a paper. You want to have so many papers when you try to open that door to go in, they have to use a shovel. Okay? You have to realize that, yes, you have to hit people multiple times, but doing the same old doesn't freaking work. If it's not working the first time, why would I replicate it 5 times? All right? Now, if it does work and they do our opening, they are seeing things, they hit it, yes, it's top of mind. That's going to work. But a lot of people, oh, I'm going to do one email. It didn't work. This doesn't work. Okay. Oh, calling banks. I did that one time. I called like 2. They said, no, it doesn't work. And that drives me bonkers. Okay. And then the question I always like to ask is, especially starting out, and I know a lot of you on here, the question I always have is, how many of you have 5K per month for direct mail? And the answer to that is really no, right? I want to see your hands. If you don't have 5K per month, throw your hands up there. If you do, don't answer. Okay. We had 5 people say they don't have it. Okay. Thank you for being honest. All right. That's good. Now, yeah, that's fine. I see what you're saying. You get what I'm saying, but that's the thing. That's another 60 grand a year for just direct mail. And that's just a starting point. And here in Texas, it's different. When we have the faster foreclosures, that's what I love about the note business. Direct mail isn't going to work because you're not mailing the borrowers. You're mailing the banks, and the banks aren't going to look at your asset, your direct mail, your yellow letter. They're going to look at it and laugh and throw it in the trash. It's not even going to make the right person. These days, so many people are being bombarded with postcards and direct mail. How many of you guys actually look at your mail on a daily basis? And anything that's just junk, you just throw it in. You can tell if it's junk a lot of times, right? Yeah. Okay. But there's still people out there in the note space, in the traditional will say, oh, you got to send out letters and postcards and stuff like that. And I'm like, why? For a 1 to 4% response rate? Screw that. You have to market like it's the 21st century. And there's some great, amazing things. Marketing has gotten so much easier to get to in front of your investors to say hi, to get your pitch done, to get investors to actually pay attention these days than it was 12 years ago when I first started. And that's the beautiful thing. It is a 21st century, not the 20th century, the 21st century. And you have to build a network. And I mean by network, you've heard me talk about a tribe. Start building kind of a network of people in your database. You're already a part of different networks. Your network at work, your network at church, your network with your kids, your school, your neighbors, your RIA clubs, your Facebook groups. We all have networks. You all are part of many networks. If you start adding up the amount of networks you're part of, easily you'll be over 1 million people that you're connected to through Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups. Hell, there's 500,000 groups, 1 million people in some big groups. Okay. So what you want to do, and we'll get to this a little bit more, just hang on. Network of places investors hang out. Start thinking, where are investors hanging out? Are they hanging out on Facebook watching me do cat videos? Probably not. Are they hanging out on LinkedIn? Yes. Are they hanging out on Twitter? Yes, they're surprisingly hanging out on Twitter. Are they on TikTok? No. Are they on Facebook? No. Are they on YouTube? Yeah, they go to YouTube to find stuff. Okay. And what you have to realize is everybody out there, it's like that movie 1984. Everybody's just marching along, cows of the slaughter. You have to be the person that stands out in some sort of fashion. We're not talking about you have to do a lot. You just have to stand out from the crowd and be different and be unique and do a little bit extra to make your star shine, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. And like we talked before, you've got to be seen multiple times for people to say, hey, I want to talk with you, or say, I want to do something. That doesn't mean if you do it, you won't get phone calls. I mean, you will get phone calls, emails when you start doing stuff. But the point is that most of the stuff that you're going to see, most of the connections, most of the investors that say, hey, I want to talk to you about what you're doing, It's going to come from a system of putting things in place. Okay. And you have to spend some time polishing your craft, polishing your tools. And I'll talk about what tools are here to get investors to pay attention to you. Okay. And you either got to spend time learning new tools or writing a check and outsourcing it to somebody, whether a VA, a friend, whatever it might be, hire an assistant. You got to either do it or outsource it. Okay. But the one-on-one way, like, oh, I'm going to go and talk with 100 people one-on-one to get closes, that's not that way. That way of marketing, a door-to-door, knocking on door salesman. Hi, would you like to fund my note deal? Hi, would you like to fund my note deal? No, doesn't work. What works today is having one conversation that you can share with thousands. And those that are really, truly interested in that thousand, they're the ones that are going to raise their hand and wave to you and say, hey, let's have a one-on-one conversation. That's today's plan. That's the way of marketing. Recording what you're going to be saying, sharing what you're going to be saying, sharing it with your network, sharing it with your audience, and getting those people, sharing it on a repeat basis, not just once, okay? But sharing on a repeat basis, a marketing plan, drip marketing campaign, share it on a regular basis, share it in multiple places. That's today's plan to get those people to say hello to you, okay? But your pitch or your message, whatever it might be, has to be polished. So that's what I want to bring up with you. Not a lot of people talk about what we do, or not a lot of talk about how we market. That's why I think we're the best at what we do, because we spend a lot of time marketing on those things that don't work. I could tell you all day, hey, just go to this one website and buy notes. And they're like, okay, how do I raise capital? I don't have more than 10 grand in my bank account. I don't have more. I don't know how to raise capital. I don't know, what do I do to market? Here you go. This is the biggest thing that separates those note investors that are really kicking ass and taking names versus those that are sitting around not doing anything. It's the knowledge that you have to market really more than looking at note deals. I know, that's scary. Hang on a second. Somebody just ran from the room. Oh my God, you guys learn how to market more than I have to look at deals. The deals are the sexy side. This is why I always crack up when I'm teaching somebody, especially one-on-one coaching, is I don't bring in tapes immediately, because if I gave somebody a tape, that's all they would focus on. Oh my God, the deals. They would start counting the dollar signs in their head. Oh, I can make this. Like, no, hang on. Let's really back. We got to market this thing first before you start counting your checks, baby. Okay. So you got to be polished with some things. And here's the number one thing. If you are asking yourself, if I hear this from people, what's the least I have to do mentally, or what's the least I have to do to be successful? Nothing. Go do something else. Go be successful there. If you're thinking, what's the least I have to do mentality basis, the least, then you're going to have the least amount of results. All right. And as a marketer, and then we're all in the marketing thing, if you're going to be marketing investors, you want to be looking, hey, what can I do a little bit more than my competition? What can I do a little bit extra to make my stuff really stand out? Okay. And that's what we're kind of getting into. So is it worth finding investors? Why am I asking this question? Yes, it's worth finding investors. If you're alive, you're like, well, I'm just going to use the 50 grand I have, and that's all I'm going to do. That's fine. We'll see you later on. But here's the thing. If you're worried about talking to investors, worried about having a financial conversation, it's like, I don't know where they're at. Here you go. Okay. Here you go. Let me give you a little bit of an insight on they will. Last year in June, July, and part of August, we did the whole Note Nation Top 40, where we focused on the 40 top markets in the country. And roughly about 90% of you are near one of those top 40 markets, or you're investing in multiple of those markets, okay? Now, across the board, we got rid of the two highest, like New York and LA, okay? So in the number 3 to 40, they average right about 40,000 people with an IRA account in that city, okay? 40,000 average. Some are a lot more, some are less. Okay, but on average, that's 40,000. And when you look at the mass majority, over half of that top 40 was over 40. There you go. There's plenty of IRA investors out there. Now, taking it the next step, how much do they really have? We don't really know, but we are able to sort through our searches and who we use, identify that actually roughly about 60 to 65% of them have more than 150 grand in their IRA, over 150 grand. Okay. How many people that have 150 grand do you need to connect with? Do you need to talk to? Do you need to have on your hot list that, will fund a deal for you to fund that $1 million deal? How many? I have 150 with 150 grand. You need 6 or 7, maybe less, 5 or 6 of just people doing it. But a lot of people are like, oh my God, that's a huge number. I can't connect. You mean I have to market to all 40,000 people to find 6 people? No, silly. No. Okay. Let's say you just target 1%, 1% of the 40,000 people, 1% of the 24,000, or even just target regular real estate investors in there that may have money outside of their IRA and their checking or savings account. We don't know what that number is, but we do know that each of these markets average roughly around 30,000 real estate investors. That's on their title, real estate investor, 30,000 people. Okay. Well, you know where real estate investors hang out? Real estate clubs, meetup groups, networking events, stuff like that. That's pretty easy. You know where investors hang out, same places. Plus, they also hang out in clubs. They go to events. They're also hanging out online by tracking them. You know, that's pretty easy. But if you figure out what's 1%, not the whole market, but let's say you connect with 1%. And you all are capable of doing that. What's 1%? You know, 1%, not 10%. 10% of 2,400 investors is 24,000 investors is 2,400. No. Let's say connect with 1%. That's only 400 IRA investors out there. Just basic IRA investors. That's only 400. Okay. Connect with 1%, 400 IRA investors. That's not bad. You'll raise some capital there. Let's say you take it up a notch. Let's say you buy a list and find out, oh, there's this much people around there. So you send out to say 1% of the 24,000 in your market. That's 240 investors with over 150K. Okay. If you got a normal, let's just say 2% response rate on a direct mail, or even a 20% open rate in email and a 1% click-through rate, hello, that's 24 people on a 1% click-through rate with 150 grand. How many is that? That's like, ooh, $9 million. You don't need a lot of people. You just got to get out and help identify the people, communicate, share. Hey, this is what I'm doing. Take your head out of your ass. Take it out of the book. Take it out of the fake book. Turn your phone off, or instead of watching cat videos on YouTube, watch out my pitch deck. Watch my 10-minute, my short little video. It's short. I can show you exactly what I'm doing, my case studies. Okay. And if you want to connect with other investors, all you need, hey, there's a lot of real estate investors in my city, but I only need to connect with 300 of them. You are all capable of that. You are all capable of doing this, ladies and gentlemen. You're all capable of doing that. Networking online. How you do it? We'll share some of the ways to get the pitch deck out to form. Okay. So how do I get their attention? How do I get that 1%? Like, how do I get their attention? How do I get that 1% to pay attention to me? Well, that's great. Okay. Consistent activity. And we're talking weekly activity. You got to be doing something. We'll show you how to connect with them a little bit. But the idea is here, once they get in your network, in your email database, on your social media, sharing consistent activity. Okay. You've been to our workshops before. You've seen me talk about the 30 by 30 matrix, where there's 30 items you can do over 30 days. Or some things you can do daily, some you can do weekly. You either part-time or full-time, even part-time, you can still do a consistent activity to your network, to your database. And I'm going to talk about things that you can use over and over and over and over again. We're talking about taking the time to record something once, do it well, and then reuse it. All right. Like your favorite t-shirt. Oh, I'm going to wear that over and over and over and over again. Yeah, it's just like that. Okay. None of us are viral. I'm going to tell you that right now, unless you got the COVID right now. None of us are going to go viral. You don't need to go viral. What you need to do, if you're going to do any type of marketing or posting, all you need, and this is the words of Gary Vaynerchuk, if you get one person to watch your video, one person to open your email, one person to connect with you, you're not connected to, guess what? It was worth it. Because what you used to do is, okay, after work, I'm going to run home, change, or I'm going to run from the office, get some fast food, drive to my networking event this one night a week, hang out there for 3 hours. Half the people there, if not 3/4 of the people, are going to do something. I'm going to sit through and listen. I'm going to grab like 5 or 10 business cards. I'm going to run home the 30-minute hour, maybe pay the babysitter, say hi to the wife. Hopefully the wife or the husband came with me. Maybe not, maybe did. And then I'm going to go to bed. But I got 6 cards or I got 10 cards, and I listened to somebody talk about something that was irrelevant about what I'm doing. Right? Well, in that time frame, you could do basically a lot of the things that you'd rinse and reuse and be smart about your time, maximize what 5 or 10 hours a week you have to put aside, and really do some good. Okay. So we all have to start somewhere, and this is what we're getting at. We're all gonna start somewhere. So the sooner you start, and I know some of you guys, you've been doing things off for a year. Some of you guys I've known for 5, 6, 7 years have been putting things off. I'm like, why? The sooner you start, the sooner you'll find success. The sooner you plant a tree, the sooner you'll have fruit from it. The sooner you plant tomatoes, the sooner you'll have tomatoes for dinner. It's that kind of thing. It will yield results if you start putting it. The more you delay things, like the sooner you start working out, the sooner you're going to lose weight. How's that work? Okay. So here are the basic, and I like to call it like the build a brand. You remember those build a bear shops that are at the mall? I don't know if they're still around or not. Probably not, because you can't keep kids 6 feet apart. But anyway, the build a brand needs a little list, the basics that you're brand new as a real estate investor or not investor. You need to put these things in place. The first thing, you need to have an entity dedicated to your real estate business. You get an LLC. Get you an LLC. Quit trying to nipple on that. Well, I'm going to use a trust, or I'm going to use my self-directed IRA. You're in business. You don't see Domino's being, self-directed IRA for Papa John's, okay, or whatever. You see it being an LLC. Act like a business. Treat it like a business, okay? Well, can I use my LLC for my other business? What's your other business? Is it notes? No. Then the answer really is no. Save it. Keep it separate. Keep it simple, silly, but get you an entity, okay? Don't care about the name. Yes, you can maximize, but just get something that you can start using, okay? And then you know what you need to do? This doesn't take long. Get a logo and a business profile. What's a business profile means? It means logging on, creating getting a URL, a logo for your business. A business cards will be, you don't need to spend a full day. Do not call me to work through your business cards and your business name, okay? But what you have to do now, after you've got those basics, is really need to put an executive summary together. And this comes into knowing about what you want to focus on. Hopefully, if you're a note investor, you're getting into it for a couple of things. You're getting into it for cash flow or bigger checks or a bit of both. Or you like the idea of going to buy in some states and work to modify the loans to keep people in their houses. That's all an executive summary is about. It's a little bit about your business, a little about you, and a little about your focus. It's those three things: you, your company, your focus. Okay. And it's a one-page thing with your smiling face, your logo at the top, and your contact information. It's like a virtual business card. Okay. Why are you going to need that? Because the banks or investors are probably going to want a little bit more information about you, and that's the easiest thing to send over. Okay. And you're going to use it over and over and over and over again. I have probably printed my executive summaries. I'm not going to joke, probably over 10,000 pages of it. I'm either giving it away as a flyer. It's like a business card. And on the back, I have case studies or deals or other things. But the executive summary is that I use all the freaking time. I wrote it once. I'll tweak it once a year, a little changes here. But it's because if somebody wants more information about your company, guess what? They get an executive summary. Nice shiny page in color, not black and white. I'm not going cheapskate. I don't want them to go cheapskates on something. We do it on color. Nice glossy paper from FedEx Kinko's. Website. You got to have a website with a pulse. What's with a pulse? That means you've got something on there. It's got your smiling face. You've got some content, or you're sharing some stuff on there. It could be other people's articles, other people's case studies. You got to have a website. You can't use, I'm going to use a Wix account. I guess you could, but take the Wix logo off it. Create something, get you a custom domain from GoDaddy or HostGator, something. 21st century, not the minimum, but the maximum. What can you do more than the people that looks like cheap down the street? Because all these little things are separating you from the wannabes, and you don't want to be. You will be, not wanna, you will be. Okay. You also need, guess what, to create social media profiles, both for your personal and your business. Okay. Now, if your boss is upset about, I don't want to find out that you're a note investor, or they're upset, okay, then create you a separate business profile that doesn't have your face anywhere on it. Okay. Or go to the social media profile that your bosses are on and block them. That's the easiest thing. Okay. Especially if you're working in another business. Okay. Block it or start a second profile. Now on LinkedIn, do not go start a separate LinkedIn profile. Just go block your people that you don't want to see on there. Don't start a new profile on LinkedIn. Just go and block, okay? And the most important thing that you can create, number one asset, and I preach this from the top of my lungs. Last year we did Build Your Perfect Pitch Deck. Go check it out in Note Night in America. You need to create you a 10 to 20 minute pitch deck. And what's a pitch deck? Guess what? It's your executive summary on a PowerPoint, talking about you, what your focus is, your company, with 3 to 4 case studies of either deals you've closed or the types of deals that you use. And then you have how to contact me. 10 to 20 minutes. Why? Because you're going to say this over and over and over and over again. Instead of you speaking it and repeat it, it's easier to have this on a link or on a website where you can send people to watch it, where they can answer it and see these questions and say, oh, I'm familiar with you. Derek, let me write you a check. Oh, Maltrice, Catherine, Laura, Steve, whoever might be on here, let me write you a check. I saw what you're about. I'm interested in what you're doing. Tell me more. So instead of you one conversation to share the same thing a million times, record it once, go through it, practice it. You're going to screw it up and go into it and roll it all out. Trust me, it will help you tenfold on this. You also need to have some sort of email service provider, not a free account. This means like a MailChimp or a Keep or an Aweber, something that you're going to be using on a weekly basis. If you're trying to still get in, I saw there was one student of ours who had a MailChimp account and he kept moving. He didn't want to go over 2,000. So anytime he got to 2,000, he would export a list, upload a list. I'm like, why? That's so cheap. That's stepping over $100 to pick up a nickel. And guess what? Marketing, this is your marketing costs. 35, 75. As long as you use it, it will pay off in 4,400 fold. Email still has a number one return on investment, 44 times what you're paying if you will use it. And this is one of the biggest things, getting the word out and what you're doing. They always tell you, if you're going to set a goal, write it down and then share it. Okay? That's one of the big things. So what kind of bait do I need to be using to get my investors to say, hey, I like that. Let me talk with you more. Okay? And this is content that you can actually share to networks on a weekly basis. We're not talking go and write you a 70-page ebook every week. We're not talking about go write a journal or a blog, 1,000-word blog. No. Blogs still exist. They're kind of funny, but the blogs are like 700 words. It's not that hard. You can write a 700-word blog in roughly about 30 minutes. But what I'm trying to get at, I can do that in video in 5 minutes and twice as fast as I talk, as according to some of my friends. But something that's going to be of interest to your network. What's that going to be right now? Think about this. Well, we had the election. I would avoid politics, religion, but we do. Guess what we have? We have some new tax changes. We have properties. We have foreclosure moratoriums. We have evictions. We have all this good stuff. Okay, and do a blog about that. A blog or a short video talking about what's going on and how it affects you, what you think about the story. Okay, send an email blast out to your database with a bit of that article or an image about it or something you found interesting. Sharing images to your social media profiles, but commenting on it, okay? Or creating, this is the hottest thing. If you want investors to fund deals, guess what you should share? Pictures of case studies or deals that you're working on, and know your deals, know your numbers, okay? All right, know your numbers, okay? And monthly, yes. You know what? If you're going to a meetup group or you're jumping on a virtual event, yes, go monthly. That's the monthly thing. But the thing is, if that's your only thing of doing, I work too much, I don't have time to do this stuff, I'm just going to go to a meetup group. Well, based on the American Marketing Association, with 80% of sales happening after the 5th contact, that means you roughly need to go 6 months before you see any type of activity. Does that make any sense? No. The big overwhelming answer to that is no. Makes 0 sense. Okay. Yes, you still need to go. You still need a network. You still need to go do something, but you've got to fill in that gap. If it's once a month or once a quarter you're going to, that's a long time not doing anything. And unfortunately, in all the events that I've been to in the last 12 years, that's really about what it is. They go once a month. That's their itch. They think they marketed because they got up in front of the room and spoke to 20 or 30 people, which most of them were on their phones not paying attention because most of them aren't doing anything. That's not effective. That can't be all that you're doing. But unfortunately, that's what most people are doing. Okay. Now, live streams, we started doing live streams 4 years ago on a regular basis. And we've been doing Note Night in America for 10 years. Okay. Doing a Facebook Live, a YouTube Live, or using a free Zoom account to share, something like that. Live stream is one of the best places I can ask questions of you. I can see that Incline raised her hand a second ago. I can see people that are on here, Marianne Orzalek or Maltrice is on here, and Mike Braze or Paul White, Linda Martin. You get to know people. They get to know you. They get to know your idiosyncrasies. They can see if you're on fire, you're enjoying, you're having a good day or a bad day. They get to do that. We're not talking you got to do one every hour, every other hour. No, hell that. I'm talking about, hey, once a week. Cody Cox might be on. I don't know if he's on there. I'm not in the seas. He used to do a Friday stroll. I was like, it's a great thing. He's talking about his opinion, talking about his thing, doing it from his smartphone while he's taking his little break. People loved it. Right. Then he stopped. Bill Grismark started doing a weekly Sunday night video. It was great. And then he stopped. Okay. You have to continue this marketing because you're building momentum. You're building momentum. You all got to start off just sharing things, and it will go so far in your networks, guys and gals, because your initial networks are going to be warm. Your friends, your families. Okay. People that love you, people that are at your networking groups. Okay. Start sharing something. It's an easy thing to do. If you've got a smartphone, you can do this. If you wanted to start a podcast, guess what? It's pretty easy to do a podcast, pretty cheap. Heck, a Facebook Live and YouTube Live is almost like a podcast. Or take it to the next step. Start looking at other podcasts that are talking about case studies or podcasts in your area, talking about investing in your city. Reach out to them. See about if they're looking for guests, because most of them are. Okay. Now, Clubhouse, we talked about this app, new Clubhouse app. If you're on an iPhone, you have to be careful about Clubhouse. Now, Clubhouse, what I have found it to be beneficial is jumping in and understanding who doesn't really know what the hell they're talking about. But when you see some big names on there like Dan Fleischman or Roland Frazier or some of the other names, Rachel Hollis, and then even Grant Cardone gave some horrible advice to the council the other day. I was like, what? It's become a way to help you grow some of your social networks. So it's not recorded unless you get really tricky with some things. Most of you can get on there and listen to people and connect with people on their Twitter or their Instagram account. And that's what I've been doing is we're identifying people on my Instagram account. And I've seen people responding. We've had about 4 or 5 things already reach out to me in a right away to either talk to their audience. I had a couple people ask me actually speak on a live event they're doing because I just commented, came on and shared. I just shared a little bit. It's a sharing app. I'm not looking to monetize. I'm just trying. It's like a party line, a networking event virtually that I can talk to you for 30. I jump in, jump out. Some people are spending all day on it. I would not do that, especially if you're just listening. Don't get in there, find rooms you can interact, stuff like that. But right now, I would not spend my time on there unless you've got all this other stuff done that you can put together. Okay. And you're building your name, you're building your brand. You start sharing this stuff on a regular basis, guess what? You're pitching without pitching. And that's the most magical way to raise capital is pitch without pitching. Just sharing the case studies, the deals you're working on. You know, Montrese posted a video to his database last night at 7 p.m. his time, going on about how he's working. He got a tape in of 144 assets. He did a nice map. He sent that map out of the assets he did. He put his about his pitch deck video on there, a couple case study videos they recorded. He got a phone call today. First email went out, got a phone call today. Woo! He was working full time, but it started marketing while it was working. People looking at it tonight. People are watching the videos. Okay. You can always buy a list too. If you don't have a database, yes, you could buy a list. It just takes a little bit longer. But if you do buy a list, there's other things that you can do. If you don't have that, if I didn't have a list in my database, I would jump on Facebook and go to some Facebook groups. I would jump on some live streams that were going on there, or I would jump over to Bigger Pockets. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Bigger Pockets, but they have a really cool way for you to find people that have money, literally, who are looking to invest. It's so ridiculously stupid. You all should be doing this, but it's a way to doing this. So basically on Bigger Pockets, connect with people on there. I'll share that in a second here. But if you have new people that are on Facebook Lives or on a live stream that self-directed IRA companies doing, you see people comment and commenting, connect with them. Send them a message on Facebook. See if they're on LinkedIn. Connect with them personally. Send a message to them. Hey, I think that was nice seeing you talk about it. I really enjoyed that. Just looking to connect with other investors. You know what they're going to say? Great. I'm looking to connect with other investors too. Okay. Now, what you can do then is once you've connected with them on LinkedIn or you've gotten an email, you can go and import them into your database. Put them on your list. Okay. Or you see them on LinkedIn and they haven't reciprocated to you or speaker. This is one of the things I like to do. If I really want to get somebody to be on my thing, I'll go and look at them on LinkedIn and I'll comment on there. I'll send them a message, send them a comment, try to add value to them and post on a regular basis, follow them. And then they'll start following my stuff and their audience kind of comes with my stuff. That's a great way to do it. Great way to do it. Okay. Now, if you want to, I know many of you are at work and don't have time to spend time on Facebook. So maybe you need to jump on Octopus and do some bulk connecting. Like you can import over, go into a search for real estate investors or note investors or real estate investor Georgia, real estate investor Indiana, And Octopus will help you kind of pull this list that you can send out. Hey, hello, just looking to connect with other investors in Georgia. All right, we've been doing this right now. Hey, looking to connect with other investors. Houston being one of our top markets. Hey, I'm looking to connect with other investors in Houston because we come across all sorts of deals in Houston and stuff like that. Love to connect with you. And today alone, I had 20 people respond out of 50 that went out this morning that gave me their email and told me to add them to their list. Okay. Now, if you've put together an email list like in MailChimp, you can say, hey, if you'd like to get on my list, click here, get my list. But I like to make it a little bit more personal. Okay. Yes, Gary, if you take your email list, yes, if you have email lists of people, you can upload like 1,000 people into LinkedIn. And if they have an email address that's on a LinkedIn profile, LinkedIn will send them a connect invite. So yes, you sure as hell can do that, Gary. Yeah, that's what I love about LinkedIn. All right. But as you connect people, if you don't have a person's email on LinkedIn and now you reach out connection and they say yes, ask them for their email, 20 emails a day. Boom. Okay. I think there's like 2 or 3 people on here tonight from that. Okay. Add them to your emails list. Add them to, you can create a buyer's list on there. You can create an investors list. You can identify your top 5 states that you're buying and make, I need to make a list of Ohio investors, a list of Georgia investors, a list of Florida investors. And Octopus is a great thing, sending out, hey, just want to connect with other people in Florida. Are you still investing? Great. I'd love to talk with you. Boom. Now I can automate and set up a system that's automated that I get up, send start, go to work, come back at night or come home at night, hit start, go have dinner with the kids and the family. And guess what? It's working in the background for me. Okay. You could use this to crowdfund. This is a great thing to crowdfunding, but the number one term in crowdfunding is what? Crowd. You have to have a freaking crowd. Setting up your own fund doesn't make sense if you have no crowd to market to. Yeah, you could set up your own crowd fund, but that's going to take you 10, 20, 50 grand. So no, that doesn't make any sense to do right now, Tony. All right. You need to understand how marketing works because crowdfunding doesn't work if you don't have a crowd. All right. Why go spend money to put together documents and a private placement memorandum when you have no people to send it to? You got to build a network first. And you're still going to need these same assets when you start a hedge fund. You're going to need a pitch deck. You're going to need an executive summary. You still need a logo. So you might as well start that shit off first to begin with. Okay. Let's not put the cart before the horse. All right. Let's not try to go from 0 to 100 when you haven't even started walking yet. Start walking, Tony. Okay. But you can create custom opt-in lists. You can put that link in the message and get people to opt into it. It's just a matter of getting the word out in front of people. Okay. Now, if you want to go from cold to warm quickly, here's kind of what I like to do. Okay. It's like my 5-6 step approach to getting people go from a cold contact that I don't know to a warm contact quickly. Okay. Now, if I meet them someplace, that's great. Cold, I will go up to people. Hey, how's it going? My name's Scott. What's going on? Talk to them. If I see them sitting there, if you've ever been to a networking event with me, you'll see that I go up and talk to people all the time. Okay. Now, some of you that are introverts, this can be very scary. All right. But go up and just start a conversation. Have a business card or get their contact information. It was great talking with you. Okay. That's one of the things I do. If I'm talking to them, all right, if I'm at a meetup group of networking, we're listening to somebody, then I'll jump online and find them on LinkedIn and then say, hey, it was nice to connect with you. Nice to talk with you earlier. I do this all the time. I do this at conferences and events, virtual events all the time too. Hey, great talking with you. Hey, great being on that clubhouse with you yesterday. Hey, great doing that. I love doing that. People love that. Oh, this is working. It's connecting. Okay. Now, if they're an investor, and I'm doing it like an investor, say, hey guys, I see, great. Can I see your investor? I've got a buyer's list where when I get deals in, then I'm not going to take down. If you let me know what your top 3 states are, or if you go here and register, I can send it out to you. I'm not going to spam you. I'm not going to waste your time if I don't have something. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and sell your information. It's not what I do. So yeah, a lot of times if they join your buyer's list, guess what? They click on your link that you have from MailChimp and now you have their information, their first name, last name, email, city, state, top 3 states, pretty easy. That's great. Now you got their information to share. Now what I like to do is they're on my database. I'll send a weekly email out to my database. Most of you guys get Note Night in America once a week, sometimes twice as a reminder. But email database, Sunday night, best time to send an email to your database. Not Monday. Tuesday during the day would be the follow, but Sunday night, roughly 5-6 o'clock p.m., send an email. And you can see by using an email service provider like MailChimp who actually opened your email. And your first round of emails, or you send out and build a big enough list, It'll probably be around 15 to 20%. Guess what? That's a pretty good list. Okay. And we're just sharing what I'm working on. Here's a new deal of the week I'm working on. Here's a new tape that I'm working on. You're just building that momentum like, oh, Tony is working on something. Didn't Tony send an email out last week that I saw where he was working on some other assets or he had property in San Antonio? Wait, didn't Montrese? Man, Montrese doing something big. I see him working on 144 assets. Oh, this week he's working on, he narrowed that list down to 20. Oh, look at this video he's got on here. Let's see what's he doing. It's 10 minutes. I got time. I got 10 minutes to watch. I don't have an hour, but I got 10. Okay. Post content to your social media. Connect with them on social media. We've talked about this during our virtual workshops before in the event coaching. Like, listen, hey, 2 weeks before the event started, start going and pick out your market. Start sharing, picking out the cities that you're in. If you see a big list of people in Florida and you see an article on Florida assets, that would be a valuable asset, hey, did you know that they're going to do this? Foreclosures are going to start back up in Florida. Okay. And then also, hey, I got a case study. I got a deal in Jacksonville. Oh, you got a deal in my backyard. Oh, San Antonio deal. I like San Antonio. All right. I love me some margaritas and some fajitas. Yeah. All right. Oh, it's Chicago. Let's get Chicago, Doc. Whatever. Oh, I hate Chicago. No. But that's the thing. You start sharing these case studies and then have your pitch deck at the bottom of as an attachment where people click on it. You're sharing it. It builds that warm following quickly. One of the most advantageous things that I have is my YouTube and my podcast. And with there not being just 5 videos on there, but hundreds, if not thousands of videos on YouTube and 600 plus episodes on the podcast. Because I get phone calls all the time from people that say, hey, I've watched your videos. I've binged your content. Let's talk. And you guys can do the same thing. You don't have to do hour-long videos or hour-long podcast episodes. The biggest bang for the buck, and I mean this, is short 2 to 5 minute videos talking about a case study, sharing that you actually know what the heck you're talking about. You actually know the numbers on a deal, or why it makes sense, or why it didn't make sense. Oh, I can trust him or her. I can trust Jessica because she markets on a regular basis. I see the deal she's working on. She killed that deal last week. Why? Guess what? There was a family of rodents living in it. Okay. That's why she called it the squirrel house. Or we had a house in Lauderdale, Florida called the bat house. Why? It had the worst bat infestation in the county. Had guano everywhere. I felt like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Okay. But those little stories, that adds life. It allows people to see that you're more than just a logo or a name. You're actually a person. And you know what? Who people work with, you know, people who write checks to, you know, people who do business with, they do it with people that they like and companies that they like. So share your stuff. Don't be afraid to share it. You know what? You're going to screw shit up. You're going to stumble. You're going to misspell. You're going to get numbers off. That's okay. Guess what? You're doing more than anybody else. And the fact, if you remember, when we were all growing up, your teachers were always lenient on you if you were the first one to go. If you were the first that got up, you could screw up on shit. But the fact that you were first, you always had that curve. You always got a better grade because of that. It's the same thing. People will give you leeway on goofing up stuff, things not being perfect, because if you keep doing it consistently, they're going to see you start to polish. You're going to see your emails start looking sharper, your videos. Oh, I like this. Oh, they got some good stuff. Rome wasn't built in a day, and a perfect pitch deck wasn't built in a day. It was built over time of putting things in place and connecting with people, okay? And the beautiful thing is when these people are looking at your stuff and you're sharing this stuff and you really do have a deal that you need to get funding or you have something on that and then you send that email out, which is like the 4th or 5th contact, not the first, hey, fund my stuff, buy my stuff. I know we just connected 10 seconds ago on LinkedIn, but I need your $100,000 to fund a project in Ghana. Like I don't even know you. Or what's the big thing is these guys that are personal trainers. Hey, how's your workout fitness? I can put a fitness plan together for them. Like, I don't know you. You're in freaking Chicago or Timbuktu. Okay. Ladies, I know you've been dealing that with guys and pervert stuff for years. But anyway, the idea is this stuff starts leading to people to pick up the phone. They pick up calling you and lead to those one-on-one valuable phone calls where it's like, I already know what you do. Let's talk about a deal. Let's talk about the deal that you send out. I already know what you're doing. I followed you for 3 months. I followed you for 6 months. I followed you for 3 weeks. I love what you're doing. I one time posted on meetup.com in a San Antonio meetup group that I was a member of. I'd never attended it in person. I just joined it. I posted a picture, a video of a property that's working, and it was the numbers made sense. They liked the short video of me talking about the case study. I had 12 people call me in less than 12 hours that wanted to fund the $70,000 deal. 12 people, 70 grand each. How much is that when you combine that all up? That's $840,000. And you know what they all said? They wanted to fund it. And I'm like, I already got somebody that's already beat you to the punch, but can I put you in a backup position in case they flake off? Or can I get you on the next one? And you know what they all said? Yes, call me on the next one, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody that's on here, the fact that you can log into Zoom tonight, you can do things. And I want to run this little poll here real fast. I have time. Yeah, I'm on it. I want you to answer this question. I want to answer these questions real fast because all this, if you have a LinkedIn profile, if you answer yes to, do you have a LinkedIn profile? Do you have a YouTube account? If you have a Gmail address of any sort, guess what? You have a Gmail, you have a YouTube account. Do you have a Bigger Pockets profile? Yes or no? Answer the questions there for you. The fourth question, have you ever created a Word document? Yes. Okay. Do you know how to use PowerPoint? Yes. Most of you should be answering this stuff. Yes. The only ones that would not be is like if you don't have a Bigger Pockets account. If you don't have a Bigger Pockets account, guess what? Go get one. All right. If you don't have a YouTube account, guess what? Go get one. It's free. Okay. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, go get you one. Get the free one. All right. It's important for you guys to do that because, ladies and gentlemen, those things all add to this customer profile, this customer journey of being able to connect with people and taking things that next level. Okay. I can't say it to you again, Doug. Doug cannot handle Survey Monkey. Fail. Okay. I know yours are yeses, but anyway, what I'm trying to get at, if you want to go from cold to warm, those are the things to do. Now, if you want to get really some great low-hanging investor stuff, okay, if you really want to get some people doing some stuff to find some stuff for you where you can fund some stuff and you've got your pitch deck and some other things done, all right, we'll cover that there. I already know the answers to this stuff. All right. Most of you have this stuff, and most of you, like 88% of you have all this stuff. You need to go do it. There's no excuse for you not to do the little things we've talked about. And if you're not doing it, it's you choosing to be stubborn and be lazy and not have success. Failing to plan is planning to fail. And most of you aren't taking the actions because you're lazy and you're content in your comfort zone. And no offense, comfort zones don't get us anywhere. I only say that because I'm guilty of that too. I have comfort zones I need to get out of. All right. But if you really want to get some low-hanging fruit, here's some really great ways to do stuff. You could go to, you've heard me talk about going to the county records, the county clerk's office, county appraisal district, and pulling list of investors. Guess what? It gives you their name and what they funded. If they got your name, guess what? Jump on LinkedIn and send them a short message, a short email, picture of the property. Hey, I saw that you bought this. I'd love to talk with you if you're looking for more deals. Ooh, that'll get people to respond quickly. Or find them on Facebook. Okay. Same thing. Self-directed IRA streams. We already talked about this. Connect with those who comment on Facebook or YouTube on those videos. If you see meetups or virtual events, you're connected with other people, follow those people, connect with those people because they're IRA investors as well. Here's the thing. Here's the number one thing for you guys, Golden Knight. If you have a Bigger Pockets account, I think half of you that answered said you do, and the other half said don't. Go get you one. It's free. One of the things they ask you to set up in your profile is keywords. In your settings, you ask for keywords. And what we do is we set up keywords that say I have 50K to invest, 75K to invest, 100K to invest, because there are all sorts of people on Bigger Pockets, good, ugly, and bad. Okay. But people will post on their brand, a lot of branded people. Hey, what should I do? I have 50K to invest. I have 75K to invest, 100K to invest. Guess what you do? You go send a connection to those people. You connect with them. Hey, saw your post. And then you know what? You put the link to your pitch deck, your 10-minute video. I just wanted to share what I do. It might be a great alternative for you to put your 50K to work, to put your 100K to work, to put your 75K to work. Saw your post and thought you might find this interesting. It's a great, easy shooting fish in a barrel. You want to do with people that have the most recent comments, less than a year. And you can only do 12 connects on Bigger Pockets this way in a day. Otherwise, they'll shut you down. You may even need to tweak up your wording so don't completely copy paste things. But share a link to your pitch deck. Our buddy Wayne Snell used this effectively. I've used this effectively. He raised over $2 million this one tactic alone because he had a good pitch deck. He had a good basic information. And it was basically, he went on there and shared it to 12 times a day to different people. And it worked out well. All right. So those are the low hanging fruit, guys. You have to, the way you perfect it is by practice, and making things happen. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns? I know we covered a lot tonight. I do want to remind you, our next virtual note buying workshop is in just over a month, February 26, 27, 28, last weekend of February. Come fall in love with notes. We'll talk about the find, the fund, the flip. Friday on finding assets and asset manager. Saturday on funding deals, raising capital, and more marketing. Sundays about flipping exit strategies and systems. It's $5.99, good for you plus a spouse or business partner. Replays are included, but I want to open it up here, guys. For questions, if you're interested, sign up at notebuyingfordummies.com, and you get the replays to December's class to start learning now. All right. Questions, come on. Bring your questions on. I love that you guys are here. What question? I know we covered a lot of stuff. You see some new faces, people you'd seen a lot. It's good. Alice, Anthony, Brad, Daryl, David, Doug, Gerald. You got to realize, everybody, just get out there. Jacqueline, Jeff, Jim, Joseph, Richard, Karen. Go on for hours here, but the most important thing you guys can do is practice, practice, practice. Get these things edited. If you're in Note Nation, go to Note Nation and check out Montrice's video. Check out Derek Elder's pitch deck from last week. Both guys did a tremendous job on their pitch deck, talking about what they're doing. They're going to end up editing it at some point, but what a great way to start off things. Subscribe. They're brand new YouTube channels. They're doing some great case study videos. It's a long way, okay? The age-old question for others, I'm afraid to ask, find money or deals first? I know it's both. Great question, Doug. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? They both come, okay? Yes, good deals will find you money, but if you're in the note business, speed up things. You need to be doing both. If you're marketing for deals, you should be marketing for investors at the same time, because there are enough case studies out there so that you have stuff both going on. All right, so do both. Thanks for answering, okay? Why 50K, 75K, 100K? Because they'll say that, Wayne. Hey, I got 50K to invest, or hey, I got 75K to invest, or hey, I got 100K to invest. They're literally saying that in their quotes. And you put those as keywords, bigger pockets will send you an alert, or you'll be able to see people that have put it. So it helps you filter through the thousands of wasted comments from everybody else asking every other thing. Okay. So it allows you to filter through all the mess. All right. Use an LLC, Tamiko. Always use an LLC. You can use a self-directed IRA, start up a self-directed IRA, but if you need profits, you can't pull profits from your deal that you fund with your self-directed IRA. That's going to go back to the self-directed IRA. So you're going to be using both. I use an IRA. I use an LLC, both. Okay. They're two different entities. Yeah, Doug, thank you for saying that. People will test you. They give you 50K to try you out, and then later offer up 100K the next time around, and on and on. Yes, they do. That's a great point, Doug. So glad you said that. Yeah, but 50, 75, 100K. Start making that network. I mean, it's low-hanging fruit. Why wouldn't you do it? Many of you won't send a damn postcard or a letter out to IRA investors, so you might as well jump on Bigger Pockets and start that warm content. But if you don't have a pitch deck, you don't have case studies, it doesn't do any good. Take the time, put a PowerPoint together. We're talking a case study PowerPoint's like 5-6 slides. The pitch deck might be 20 slides, but it's 11 minutes long, 15 minutes long. Something short and sweet. That's what you have to do. That's how you pitch without pitching. You just get good in talking about your craft. You build rapport from your audience and get things rocking and rolling. And it just takes time. Every person you come in contact with, guess what? They're part of your tribe. Okay. You would call yourself an investor, Alice. Okay. We'll be posting this video replay tomorrow on youtube.com, or if you go to weekclosenotes.tv. Okay. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Great then.